An investigation continues into a man accused of shooting and killing 6 people, including a 7-year-old child in Mississippi. Family members are now speaking out after the incident. Kamari Hamer has more.
When they first told me, I just couldn't believe it.
When they said it was my brother, I was really shocked about it. Didn't want to believe that he had got killed.
Kimberly Moore and Versie Jennings are still in shock after hearing the news about the death of their family members and the identity of the suspect. Clay County Sheriff Eddie Scott tells WCBI 24-year-old Derica Moore shot and killed 67-year-old Glenn Moore, 55-year-old Willie Gins, 33-year-old Quentin Moore at this home on David Hill Road. All 3 victims were related to the shooter. Moore then allegedly stole a Ford F-150 that belonged to Quentin Moore. It is believed that the shooter then traveled to Blake Road and forced his way into this home and attempted to sexually assault someone. While he was there, Moore reportedly shot and killed a 7-year-old girl who was also his second cousin.
It really a sad situation. I really don't know what the causing of this. We all just need prayer at this time.
The killing continued. Clay County investigators say Moore left in the stolen truck and drove to this home on Salone Griffith Road. Deputies found the stolen truck behind the home, signs of forced entry, and the bodies of Barry and Samuel Bradley.
We all lift our hearts in prayer for the victims and families. Again, this is really, really shaking our community. And for me, almost 30 years in this is one of the toughest ones we had to work.
The suspect had no prior history with law enforcement, and at this time, there's no clear motive behind the crime spree.
Mental illness, that's something serious that we as a family should take, try to check on our people because, like I said, we really don't know what happened and what the situation is, but it was just a family dispute, and we asking for prayer.
More.
Man, this is just tragic. Welcome to the video, everyone. This is Justin Paul. So this is a story out of Mississippi in Clay County. I'm not too familiar with this area at all. It honestly looked like, a place where I grew up in NC. But, country living, people who like the slower life, not really the city life. And, man, like she was saying, she's a family member, so it looks like it was a family dispute. And, man, 6 people. That's a shame. Of course, man, mental illness is a real thing. I really feel like it's a real thing. It's so crazy that it's being called out so much that people are just starting to feel like it's just an excuse, for those who do, some of the most heinous stuff to, other people. And in this situation, the guy murdered, 6 family members from what they're saying. I'm not sure if the last 2 were family members, but if they wasn't family members, they knew the family because, in areas like this, everyone kind of knows each other. So, I'm not sure what that disagreement could have been. They have him in jail, so hopefully they'll be able to get a motive out of him. But, in this type of area, I doubt this dude will ever see the light of day again, especially the way that he killed, these individuals. Most of them was shot in the head, execution style. And, you killed the 7-year-old little girl. And I'm going to play the next clip here, which is even more heartbreaking. But, yeah, man, definitely prayers out to the family and everyone that was, involved and who, dealing with the pain of losing, a lot of loved ones. It's not just one loved one, they've lost 6 people. And they're considering this a mass shooting, of course. He initially killed the individuals in the first home, took their truck, and then, continued to move on, tried to sexually assault someone, In the midst of all that, he shot a 7-year-old in the head, and then went and killed 2 other people. So very, very tragic.
Clay County, Michelle Martin, WTVA 9 News.
But I tried to do all I, can to help her, to save her. But I couldn't. And that's weighing heavy on my heart.
As we mentioned, one of the 6 victims was a child. 7-year-old Michaela Guin was shot in the head at that second location. The little girl's family, as you would imagine, just heartbroken. WTVA's Tanaya McQueen talked to Michaela's mother, who says part of her died when she lost her child that night. Tanaya is live in West Point with her emotional interview.
There's just not enough words to describe the pain that LaShonda Gewins must be dealing with. Little Michaela was so happy, so bright, and full of so much joy, and she brought so much life into their home. And now this family is left to deal with a loss that no one can understand. Now, LaShonda Gewins was actually at that home when everything happened. They live on Blake Road. It was a place the family felt safe. It was their sanctuary. But that peace was shattered just last night. Now, LaShonda's cousin, Derica Moore, is accused of murdering her daughter. LaShonda says she actually saw her child die right in front of her other 2 children, a heartbreak no mother should ever have to experience.
I can't help but to feel like, I could have did more. But I tried to do all I, can to help her, to save her. But I couldn't. And that's weighing heavy on my heart because, it might have been more. What if I did this and what if I did that? It would have been, a better outcome. But I just don't know. I tried.
Man, again, my condolences, especially to the mother here, who had to see their 7-year-old daughter being shot, and you know she's trying to save her in total shock. But it's just like, man, it's the devil in people, man. People are just pure evil these days, and you know you can't care about life if you're willing to take the life of a 7-year-old after the fact that you already done taken several other lives. And then after you left this home, you went and took 2 other lives. So unbelievable. um Unbelievable.
The family is now focused on remembering and honoring little Michaela's life. They're asking for prayers tonight as they deal with this unimaginable heartbreak. Tonight at 10, I'll share more of this emotional interview, and I'll talk to the little girl's grandfather, and I'll have how he now has to hold this family all together after this unimaginable loss. Live in.
So if I'm not mistaken, the guy was 24 years old.
6 people. Family members are now speaking out.
When they said he had got killed.
Kimberly Moore and Versi Jennings are still in shock after hearing the news about the death of their family members and the identity of the suspect. Clay County Sheriff Eddie Scott tells WCBI 24-year-old Derica Moore.
Man, you mean to tell me this guy is 24? Man, he looks every bit of like 54. At least 44. Every bit of it. Hairline gone. And I mean, at 24 years old, I mean, I've seen worse as far as guys going bald early and stuff like that. But at least they had, the knowledge or the awareness, to let it go, and not walk around with the George Jefferson. Um, and I'm not trying to really make too many jokes or anything, because this situation is very, very serious. Because he killed a lot of people, and these are his family members and stuff like that. So man, he should definitely get the full extent of the law. And that, I mean, even that, I don't feel like that's gonna be justification enough for the family who lost their loved ones. But really can't believe this story. Pretty wild. Um, I know there's gonna be more updates as far as when the motive comes out, and that more than likely be the next reaction video I do on this story. But again, my condolences to the mother who had to definitely sit there and look and see their child um, bleeding out, and I can only imagine how traumatic that is. And again, this guy should never see the light of day. And I'll be interested in learn what the argument was about, and you know, try to make sense of this senseless violence. But I'm going to close out this vid. If you like my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This is Justin Paul. Peace.